Welcome to a lesson on building free websites. My name is Anne-Marie Anderson and I will be your guide through this process. Perhaps this is a familiar scene. You are in a classroom interacting with your students, answering questions, creating a discussion. The students are fully engaged. What about when your students are home? What if your student lost the assignment, or if she forgot what material was supposed to be read before the next class? Would you prefer she send you an email? Or would you like her to be able to look up everything she needs on your website? After today's lesson, you will be able to create one. If your students could answer their own questions by using your website, then you wouldn't have to answer those bothersome emails from home. You can connect with your students outside the classroom and make your own free website, and I can show you how to do it. We will look at 3 different tools. At this point, my human counterpart will be taking you through a screencast of how to use the Wix tool.
Hello everyone, this is Anne-Marie Anderson and I'm going to show you how to create a very basic website using the Wix website builder. So I'm already logged in. It is a free site. There are certainly parts of it that you can pay for, but you don't need to, and you can certainly build a very good website, very professional looking website without paying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new site, and what you have is you've got templates. And as you can see, look, even in the business category, there's a ton of different options, and each one has its own pages within it, suggestions. Alright, so if you wanted your website to have this guy on it, then go ahead, you can use that guy. There's any number of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to some of the most popular websites. As you can see, as it says, some of them are for advertising and marketing firm, but if you like this and you like the way the website looks, then you can take it and make it your own. You can change literally everything on that page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work with a website that I was messing around with a little bit earlier, and I'm going to create just a simple personal website. Picking that template, let me tell you, is probably the part of this that took me longer than anything else when I designed my own site. So I chose a very simple template, very clean, just to show you some of the features of Wix. If you decided that you didn't like this background, you can change it. Here in this design feature, you have the choice of changing your background. It can be anything. It can be little anchors. It could be, there's so many pages here. Alright, I happen to like the bubbles here because it kind of matches my bubbles on my page. Alright, but you can customize this to just about anything that you want. So this is how I'm going to make mine look. The other thing you can do is you can change the colors, because if you notice now my colors don't really pop quite as much as they did before. So what I can do is I can change them one by one, or I could change the colors all at once. Again, in that design tab, I'm going to change my color scheme. And like I said, this whole part, choosing my template and choosing my color palette, was probably the longest part of everything. Now you gotta love the names that are in here. Pretty in Pink, Skin Tone Portrait, Lola's Nature Trip, right? So you can just keep clicking on them until you see something that you like. Like that doesn't look too bad, the skin tone. You've got Mustard Seed, Brand Me Colorful, any number of types. Let's see. Okay, I like this one. I'll keep with this Yellow Drops on Minimal. Unless I like Hot Air Balloon a little bit better. Now that made my text go away again. Oh, now I gotta pick something else. So clicking through this, as I said, is probably the part that took me longer than anything else. I'm gonna stick with this one. It's Alive. I could probably choose something a little bit better, but I don't want to waste any more time doing this. What I'm gonna do first is I can change anything on this page. Everything that you're looking at, I can make a change to. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is, that's not me, I'm gonna change the image. So it's as simple as saying, change image. Alright, these are images I've uploaded from my previous website. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of these here, and alternatively in the image section you have Free from Wix, and you've got a ton of pictures available to you in here. I mean, I'm just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Alright, you also have social images if you want to pull your own images from your own Facebook pages, and you've got big stock images. Those you're paying for though. So I'm happy enough with the images that we have here. I'm just going to choose a picture of myself. Oh, I didn't mean to upload images. Well, if you wanted to upload an image, it's that simple. Just clicking upload images. So I'm going to choose that image of myself, and there I am. Alright, the other thing, now that I've picked my image, and I could put images all over this page if I wanted to. I could just start inserting random pictures. But I'm not going to because I like the layout. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my name because I'm not Nicole Ryder. Right? So I'm just going to put Ann M. Anderson. Oh, and my name's a little bit too big. So, just like any text box in any program, you can expand it. Alright, now something I just want to call your attention to here. You see that pink line that's coming across? What that pink line is doing is it's telling me that you're in line with the picture below, which is a really useful tool when you're building this to make sure that all of your pictures and all of your text stays in alignment. I mean, you have the choice of not making an alignment, but it is a nice tool to have. So again, my name is still too long. There we go. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit higher because this way it's not crashing into the home. I'm not a fashion editor or stylist. We'll give myself something better. Let's say I'm an heiress. I really should change the coloring on this. Hang on a second. Okay, I just wanted my text to be a little bit more visible. You can change anything that you see here. You can change my resume. You can change, and it's neat that it's got this here. On a paragraph, click here to add your own text and edit me. It's easy, right? So you can just double click and I can edit in here. And you can edit, you can change font size, you can change color, you can change anything that you want. Indent, center, it's the same things that would be available in Word. This is a very intuitive website. As you can see, you can scroll down here. I can add in my own contact information, my email address, whatever I want. If I don't want them here, then I don't have to have them here. Alright, so navigating, you can go one of two ways. This is probably the easier way. So this is built in, as you can see, home, resume, projects, contact. You can change any of those that you want. Alright, you can change any of those titles. So if I'm on the resume page, this is what it looks like. If you don't like the color scheme, then change it. You don't have to keep with it. Just because one page has one color scheme, it doesn't mean you have to keep with it. Alright, so you've got resume built here, projects, because this is an about me page, you know, so I'm trying to sell myself, and my contact information. Incidentally, the way it changes between one slide to another, you see that fade effect in between the two choices. That is also something that has been elected in this website. Alright, so let's go back to home for 1 second. Alright, so let's look at these tabs along here. This is the Pages tab. So here's the 4 that I just looked at. If I decided I wanted projects to be underneath resume, not to be its own page, then it would be there. So if I wanted projects to be a subset of resume, that's what I would do. Just slide it over. Now I'll show you on my own website how that plays out. Alright, so if I click on any one of these, let's see, these little gears here are page settings. So I have the option to rename it. There's a number of options here if I want page privacy, header, footer, if I want to change the style, the background, and so on. And again, here's that fade option that you have here, the fade between the different pages. You can also delete a page if you decide you don't like it at all. So I'm going to change one of the other ones. Let's say I change projects. I'm going to change the title just because I don't want it to be called projects. I want it to be called classes because I'm a teacher and that's what I do. I'm going to say done. Oh, and let's put classes back out here, make its own page. Notice that the classes came back here. Now the page is called classes. If I got rid of it from the main page because I don't want to be able to navigate it from here, I only want to be able to link to it from the resume page, it disappears from here as well. So it's pretty amazing the things that this website does for you. Alright, so we looked at background colors. Oh, let's decide I want to add a new page. So here we go. Let's add a page. Let's add a page. Again, this is used for businesses. This is for everything, right? So I mean, it's got so many options. What if I want pictures and some text? What if I want just text? What if I want a price listing? Maybe I'm a restaurant or something along those lines. But I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to go with gallery since I'm going to do pictures. All right, so we're going to say OK here. I have just added a new page, a gallery page, and it's called a grid. I can retitle it at any time I want. And again, here's the link up on top for grid. And now it's in my navigation drop down. So if I wanted to change these pictures because I want it to be pictures of me, that's my website, then I can just double click on them and I can change the images. Let's replace some of the images, or we can add some more images to work with here. So back to that images that we had before, the free from Wix. I can click on any one of those. I can upload images. I can use my Facebook images. I can use anything I just about want. I'm going to use my picture for my Spartan race. there we go, done. And there I am. Okay? It's super easy to make these changes. Okay, so we've looked at pages, we've looked at design, and we have add. We can add text boxes, we can add random images, we can add gallery pictures, we can add media, we can add shapes, lines, buttons, menus, drop downs, pretty much anything you want. I can even add social apps, Facebook apps. Okay, let's say we're going to add a Facebook like to it. And there we go, Facebook like. All right. Now that won't be live until you actually modify it, and link it directly, which is a little bit more than I want to get into here today. But I could also add Twitter. I can add just about anything I want. In the app market, these are little widgets that you can pretty much put on your page. There's a number of them that are free. Now, as an education site, you probably wouldn't be using these so much, but you could be. Maybe you want to link to Etsy on here. I don't even have an Etsy account. Whoop. And I just added a page to my site, an Etsy page. Alright, with that, let's see. Look at that. Etsy shop page. Alright, so that's what I just included here. Now, why would I want that there? I don't know. I wouldn't put an Etsy shop on there, but maybe there's an app in there that you do find that you are interested in. Alright, in settings, you can change your site address, you can change how Google finds you, you can change your social settings, you can change a number of different things. Alright, but you see here's my Etsy shop page now that I created that. Notice that none of these links are live. They're not live until you actually publish the site or even save it and you're accessing it through the web page itself. This is a building site, so these are not linked that way. Alright, once I do have this live, I should be able to click on my resume and it brings me to the page that I could link to here. It would bring me straight to that resume page. Alright, they are linked together. And when you add images, you have that option of linking. Alright, so it does not need to go live until you save it. You can preview it, but once you save it, it's still there for you to work on. Until you actually hit this publish button, it's not going to be out there in the world. Alright, so I hope this is I found this to be a very intuitive site. You can also work on the mobile editor so you can see what your website would look like from a mobile, since that's our world, right? Have you ever been to a web page where you look at it and you go, oh, that's awful, because you're looking on your phone and it looks terrible, the layout? Well, it doesn't have to. You can be doing that when you can see what it's going to look like before you do it. Okay. Alright, so it's kind of giving me a tutorial here. I'm not really interested in the tutorial. Alright, but you can see what it would look like so your website doesn't look unprofessional. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what my page looked like from here. Here we go back to home. It took me a long time, like I said, to come up with a color scheme. I want it to be simple. I want it to be clean. So we've got home, we've got my about me, my contact information. I have a web, so students can reach out to me directly. All right. Classes, I've got web pages for each one of my classes. Here's managerial accounting. And what I do is I've got my syllabus in here, my calendar, where to link to my screencast in YouTube, a discussion forum to kind of build those 21st century skills for students that they can communicate with one another. I've got an online publisher site, so pretty much anything you see underlined, I've got links to. I've got links to documents, all right, rubrics, and so on. All of these are uploadable, so this way your students can go to them whenever they want. They don't have to wait for you or wait for class or email you. They can get the information themselves. I've got the links to the different accounting programs at my college, the different certificates and programs that we offer, and I kind of give a little bit of a summary of them along the way. I've got some information on being an accountant, the career of it, certifications and CPA licensure, and the career paths of accountants, and all these things that are linked here are also, like this is a link to the AICPA, and it's a video about different accounting professions. So this is a great place, and now I have a fun page too, because I like my students to see the fun side of accounting. So there's a bunch of different videos here, all of them which I've watched and are safe to be on an education page, and I think the students would enjoy seeing that as well. So thank you for listening to the Wix part of this. I'll speak to you in a few minutes about the next web page builder.
Now we will be exploring Google Sites to build our new website. I will be right here, enjoying the sun, while my human counterpart shows you the ropes.
Hello everyone, now we're going to be looking at Google Sites to create our web page. So you do need a Google account in order to make this happen, but it is free. So you're going to come over here to Google Apps and you're going to find Google Sites. Now it's probably not going to be in your first click here, so you're going to have to click More. And it still may not be in here, and it's not in mine either, so we're going to go with Even More from Google. Alright, so coming on down here, and this is kind of neat. I mean, look at all of these tools available through Google, right? There's a lot of things that are in here that you may not be aware of that you might want to take a look at. But we're going to click on Google Sites. And we are going to create a new site. So I'm going to start from a blank template with this one just to give it a different look than what we did before. But I just want you to realize that you do again have the galleries that you can look through with existing sites, and you can change it to what you want. Alright, there's a schools and education site, but honestly some of these are too busy in my opinion to be using for a basic website. So if I were creating one for scratch, I would probably start with something in the personal area. Just keep your site looking a little bit more professional. But just to do something a little bit different, as I said, what we're going to do is we are going to start from scratch with this one. Okay, so I'm going to close that. And we're going to use a blank template instead. We're going to name our site. We're going to name it Anderson 2015 and version 1. Okay, so because you need to have a unique name, so you have to work a little bit to get there sometimes. Selecting a theme, basically you're just picking kind of a basic color theme here. And let's see, I don't want something too terribly boring. So we're going to pick something like, let's see, how about Horizon? And we're going to click the button that says I'm not a robot and create. It may take a second. Oh, guess what? That Anderson 2015 may not have worked. There you go. Location you've chosen is not available. So let's try calling it something different now. Anderson version 1. We'll call it version 2015. Nobody could possibly have that, right? So let's try creating a site again. Actually, I may need to check that box again. I'm not a robot. Yeah, I do. There it is. I'm not a robot. Create site. Okay, let's see if it lets me have it this time. Alright, and there we go. Here's my home page. Alright, so here's my sunset around me here, or sunrise, whatever you want to look at it. And we have our first page, our home page. Now to edit it, it's simply pressing on this little pencil tool to add new pages. It's the plus sign. Alright, so let's edit the page and we'll say welcome to accounting. And what we're going to do is we'll also maybe decorate it up a little bit. Let's add a picture. So it's a matter of, if you see, this is very similar to what you're used to seeing, right? Insert, format, table, and layout. So we're going to insert an image. And I'm going to pick an image from something that I've got already. So maybe we'll pick the CPA, Born to be Wild. I am an accounting teacher after all. And we're going to say OK. And there it is. So you have the option now. You can put it in the center of your page. You can put it all. You can left align, center, right align. You can make it small, medium, large. And I'll just basically leave it as is for now. Okay. So, and welcome to accounting. I can modify this the same as I can modify any text, really, right? I can make it bigger. I can make it a different color, right? Oh, I don't know if yellow is a good idea. Let's go with the red. So I can change it to just about anything that I want. And I'm going to save it. Okay, so moving on from here, again, this looks kind of bare bones, especially with what you just saw me do with Wix, but we can add a couple of pages. So let's add a page. Let's call it a syllabus page, or yeah, sure, syllabus page. And I'm just going to say OK for everything here and create. And this is kind of a neat part. So either I can add a file, right, directly from my hard drive, which is no problem, and the students will have a link to it. But that means it's static, right? It's not going to change unless I change it. So what you can also do, which I think is really neat, and this is probably one of the main reasons I think Google Sites is a neat place to make your website, is we can make it dynamic by picking the document directly out of your Google Drive. So all you'd have to do is modify the document in your Google Drive, and it's going to modify what's in your website as well. I don't think I have anything really syllabus looking in here, but I'll throw something into here. Alright. There we go. I don't even know what this is, but this is what we're adding in here. Okay, so it's a Google document. As I said, it's going to update if I update the document. So I don't have to go through and change it every semester. I can change it in my Google Drive and then it will change. Alright, so you may not see the change right away because it is a document, you know, this is like a work in progress. So it's not a live website right now. But let's see, well, if I reload this page, what will happen? Nope, still can't see it. Okay, well, we'll save for now. And you have the same options. You can center it, you can left align it, right align it. Oh, there we go. So here we go. So now a syllabus is going to come up right on this page. Granted, that is not the syllabus. That's something else that I was working on in a different class. But you can see that you can add that you can add that tool to it. All right. So moving on, let's give ourselves another couple of pages here. Let's say you wanted to add in videos. All right. And what I'll do is I will just go grab something. I'll go grab a video from my website, from my YouTube channel rather. Alright, so I'm not going to let it play. But I can grab this video from my YouTube channel, grab the link, I can say insert YouTube. So this way you're not sending your students out to YouTube. Instead, you're kind of bringing it to you. Because the YouTube video, I have just embedded it on here and students will be able to see it directly this way. Alright, again, kind of neat. Alright, you were able to do this also with Wix, but it just seems to be a little bit easier in my opinion maybe to add these things. There we go. Through Google Sites. I especially like the fact that you can integrate all of your Google Drive items and such this way. Alright, the other thing is that Google has a number of, has a number of other things that you can add in here. So we're going to create a page and we're just going to call this miscellaneous maybe. And in that miscellaneous page, something I kind of want to point out to you guys, what Google Sites does is it alphabetizes. So you've got miscellaneous, these are pages I created, right? Home is home, but miscellaneous, syllabus, videos, the sitemap was already here, that's just here to begin with. But it alphabetizes. And I'm not really crazy about it alphabetizing my pages. There's probably a way to turn that off, but I don't know how to do it very easily. So just throwing that out there. Okay, so if we're looking at this and I wanted to add gadgets, let's say I wanted to add news. I hit say select, and maybe I want to decide what news I want to come through to my students. I want top stories, I want tech, and I want business, let's say. And we'll say okay. Now what's going to happen is it is going to have a constantly updating stream of news on this tab, which is great. Right? Again, this makes it real time. And it's not a static website. Alright. So let's look quickly at the other items you can insert. Right? I mentioned you can use your Google Drive, right? Here you go. You can pull anything in from your Google Drive, a presentation and so on. You could also use your Google Plus accounts to pull things in. You can include your Google Hangouts, even though start Hangout buttons. This is great for this is a wonderful Web 2.0 tool in that students can talk back and forth to you. Maps, YouTube. I mean, the gadgets are almost endless. There's so many of them available to you, and these are all free, and you can just add them as you like. Or you can even search for them based on the features that you're interested in. The one thing I will say is that overall, the look of these accounts, in my opinion, is not quite as polished as a Wix account would be, but they do have features that Wix doesn't. The links to the Google Drive and such, as far as I'm concerned, those are very cool, and if you use those in your class, it's worth it then, in my opinion, to make your site and Google Sites. And now if I want to share this, because I'm ready to publish this, I'm going to share, and now it is out there in the world. So let's see, I'm going to copy that, and it's out there in the world. That's it, it's been shared. So let's see if I can access it and see what it looks like in the world. And there you go, there's my website. Alright, you can click on miscellaneous. Here's that news that I had. I don't know why it's not showing up. There's the syllabus. Here's the video that I uploaded. Okay, I'm not too sure why my news element isn't working right at this moment. that gadget, but you can toy around with that if you'd like. So this, as I said, again, just to repeat, this is a valid tool. This is it's a good tool to use. It's very simple to build, an easy site. Not quite as polished in my opinion. That's just me. It maybe if you started with one of the templates, it would look a little bit more polished because they're more professional. It's got a lot less options, a lot less features to work with. You don't have all the crazy color schemes and so on. So if you wanted something simple, easy, and connected to your Google Drive, this would be it. And it has more real-time data as well. Alright, thank you for listening to how we prepare Google Sites.
Finally, we will be looking at the last tool, Weebly. I'll be right with you after I take a quick nap.
Hello everyone, for our third website builder we are going to be looking at Weebly, weebly.com. So you do have to log in. Again, it's free. Alright, so I'm telling them, and this is once I've logged in, which I did already, it asks me what I'm looking to do, build a site, blog, or store. So I'm going to go with the site. And you're choosing a theme. Don't make yourself crazy. Just pick something that you like the pictures of. Alright, same as last time. Don't worry about what's on there. You can modify just about anything. Well, you can modify anything. Alright, so I'm going to go back. I kind of like the idea of travel here, so I'm going to choose this to be my theme. So the first thing that pops up is whether or not is what you want to name your website. Alright, so I'm going to name it Anderson 2015. Alright, it tells me it's available, so great, I know right away, not like the Google sites. If you notice, it'll have anderson2015.weebly.com. That's the part of it that makes it free. If I wanted it to just be anderson2015.com, assuming it's available, it's going to cost me some money. So we are going with the free version here. We're going to hit continue. Okay, so here is my website. So I've got the picture that I had chosen, and then I have that I can choose layout or drag elements down there. Alright, so this is kind of big actually. I don't know that I want this to be the beginning of my website. So if I'm going to change it to actually change, I'm actually going to change it here. I can choose it to be a landing page as it is now, or to be a tall header. I'll show you what that looks like. Well, that didn't really change. Alright, let's, oh, it's still loading. Hang on. So really it just shortened it up a little bit. If I wanted to, let's be more dramatic. Let's go with a short header and see what happens. Alright, so with the short header, it's really only just the top of my page that this picture is. And you can even change the layout. You can change the picture, right? If I decided, you know what, I really wasn't good with that, I'm going to change it to something else. I can choose horses instead. And I'm going to select it. And I can even move those horses around a little bit. So say I move the horses around a little bit here by dragging it. I can put the picture somewhere else. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to keep those horses. Change image. And I can blur it. I can do all kinds of things with it. Alright, so we are going to select it. So I can blur the picture if I wanted to a little bit. Make it not quite so crisp. It's all about design and what you want. Oh. Now my horses are a little bit blurred actually. I think they're a little bit too blurred. Alright. So we're going to be good with that. That is what we're going to choose. We're going to save that. Okay, so now instead of the travel picture, we've got horses on the beach. Alright, so from here you can do one of two things. You can either choose a layout. Well, okay, so if I want to change the headline, let's say Anne Marie Anderson Accounting. It's as simple as typing into it, as you just saw me do. I can change the font, I can make it bigger, smaller, underlined, all the things that you've seen along the way. Now, as far as what I want on the actual page, I have a couple of choices. I can either build it by picking one item at a time, pulling images in, right? So let's see what it looks like if I put, well, actually I'm going to wait a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose, I can choose a layout. So it gives you the most popular layouts, what a home page would look like, right? Typical home pages, I can choose that to be my layout. I can choose services, event headline, right? The titles here. You can choose any one of these to be with the layout of that actual pages. You can choose what an about page usually would look like, services, and so on. So as you go through the different pages in your site, you can see if any of these, if you want to work with any of these, right? A typical contact page, and so on. What's kind of neat, actually really neat, is if I decide that I like this particular layout, I can put it in there, kind of see what it looks like, and decide whether or not I want to keep it. Right? I do actually like that site, but I want to show you how to, or that layout, but I want to show you how to build other things. So I'm going to cancel. I'm not going to keep it. So it's kind of neat that you can put it in there and not truly decide. And then we're going to X out of this. Alright, so what I can do also is I can drag an image in. See, I'm dragging this in, and I haven't actually picked the image yet, but I'm telling it I want there to be an image. So now I can choose to upload an image, and I can choose from my computer, I can choose from a URL, I can choose from my favorites. Alright, so if I wanted to use an image URL, I would click this and I would just have to put in here. It does have to be this type of file, a JPEG, a GIF, or GIF, however you choose to say it, or PNG type of file. So you can simply go to Google Images for something like that. Let's go with, see, Google. And we're going to choose an image. Let's see, what are we going to look for? We did horses. So now maybe we'll look for a picture of a barn randomly. Alright. So we're going to pick this. It is a JPEG. That was one of the acceptable ones. Right? So we're going to take this. We can right click on the image, copy image URL, put it in here, and insert it. And there we go, there's our picture of our barn. A little bit bigger than I'd like, so we're just going to resize that down so it's not quite so huge. Let's do that again. Okay. Now you can left align, center. It automatically came in as a center. You can do whatever you want with this image. Alright. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text maybe next to my image. I'm going to decide I want the text to be here. I want it to be underneath my image. Here is a barn for my horses. Okay, and you can modify that any way you like as well. Alright, so now you see how this works. Let me add some new pages. You'd come up here to the top and you'd click on Pages, and I'm going to add another page, standard page. I'm going to call it Syllabus since we're sticking with the theme here. Right? It's trying to give me hints how to build this along the way, so you can read them when you're building your own as kind of a help. And maybe again I'd pick a short header page if I so choose, and save and edit. Okay. Now that I've added that new syllabus page, here it is up here. So if I want to see it, well, the website itself, the design I chose came with an about page, a contact page, and a syllabus page. Well, the syllabus page I just created, right? So you can do the same kind of thing. You can choose a layout. You can drag it directly there. Let's pull a picture in. And we'll upload an image. Well, this time we'll pick from our computer. And we're going to pick this one here. Okay, these are web-based, so it depends on how quick your access is as to how fast it's going to go. Right? You can do that. You can add some dividers underneath it if you want. Right? This is, as far as I'm concerned, this website overall is more for the professional builder, the one who wants the layout the way they want the layout. You can certainly choose from the templates that are offered to you, but it just seems to me that you have more options to design it visually the way you want to see it. Alright, so as you can see, what I'm doing here on the left is I'm scrolling along and I'm showing you kind of all the various things in here. You can import videos, documents, YouTube again. Alright, the same kind of thing. You can embed a YouTube, but you see you're dragging and dropping when you're doing this, right? That's a different feel from what we saw before with Google Sites or with Wix. And look, it's showing me it added a YouTube video to my site. Alright, it's just showing you what a suggested thing. We could change it, which of course we would change it to be what we would want it to be, but for now I'll just leave it be. And as we continue to add pages, let's say I wanted to add another page. We'll say Add another standard page, and we'll call it photos. What I can do is I can do the same thing as I did for Wix, and I can say I want photos to be underneath syllabus. And what that does is it makes it so it's not on my top bar here, but I can access it by via the syllabus page. So now I can click on that photos page, even though I don't have anything on this page yet. Here it is. And I can again choose a layout, or I can pick my own layout as I go along. Alright, so with this, maybe I would choose, portfolio pictures. That would be my layout. And you have the choice of whether or not to keep it or not keep it, the same as you did before. Okay? Now, one other thing, we'll keep it. One other thing that I'd like to show you here is, what if I decided at the end of the day, I don't like this layout at all? So I can kind of go back to my build tab, or no, I'm sorry, my design tab, and I can change my theme. And it will keep all the things that I've done so far. So if I decided I wanted to switch to, let's see, whatever this building is here, sure, choose. It's going to give me, well, it's going to keep the things I did before, syllabus, photos. If I went back to my home, which I'm going to do right now, my barn is still there. Okay, here's a barn for my horses. So just because you have started with a certain theme doesn't mean you need to stick with it. You can decide, you know what, this really isn't working for me, but I put so much work into it, I don't want to start from scratch. That's fine. That's one of probably the best benefits as far as I can see for Weebly. All right. So you can do all the same things as you did before. This is the one who, as far as I'm concerned, this site seems to be one that's better for the graphically non-challenged, people who are good at laying out things on websites, who want to experiment a little bit. I really like this website a lot. Now you can publish it, and that means it's going to go live, which I don't want to do right now, but that's all it would take to publish it and make it live. You do have the option again of looking at it from a mobile view, the same as you did with Wix. The one good thing about this, the additional thing about this website is once you publish it and it's out there for the world to see, you have the option of also maybe taking it down for a little while because you want to work on it at home, you want to work on it, or you just want your website down for a little bit for whatever reason. Maybe it's the summer and you want to change some things. So that would just be a matter of deactivating it, if you will, for a brief time. Okay, so most of these tools I'm not going to go through because we've gone through ones that are similar. Uploading a file that's actually a document. Commerce, I can't see you guys needing this, but if you need to, I'm sure it's user friendly. I very much like the way that you drag and drop things directly onto the site in order to add them to your page. I think that is a really neat feature to have. But otherwise, I think, any one of these, there you go, click here to edit, how did you hear about this site, and so on. All right, so there's a lot of things you can do with this. You've now seen 3 website making tools. Any of these which you choose to use are going to do a great job and build you a wonderful website. It's all about what ones you like the feel of, the ones that you like the look of. But by all means, experiment with whichever you like. All 3 are free for your use. I hope you learned something today. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us and learning about a few free website development tools. Creating websites is easy, fun, and connects you to 21st century students. Let's get started.